So we made, I think, what is one of the greatest discoveries in neuro rehab and physical rehab too. We discovered in this office, within the past 2 years, we discovered how to recalibrate the foundation of the brain. So there's 3 systems that I would consider are the foundational system in the brain. And when these 3 systems are perfectly calibrated with one another, we could say that we recalibrate our brain's compass. Our perception of where we are in space and where things are around us is perfected. It's not just for balance. The impact is on all systems because it's so deep and foundational that it can have an impact on cognition. It can have an impact on mental state. It can have an impact on how we move. It can have an impact on our balance. It can have an impact on the structure of our spine, on our muscle tone, on our digestive system, on our immune system, on how we process pain, and so much more. And so, we call this method the gravity reset method. The gravity reset method, I believe, is a method that should be practiced in every chiropractic office, by every physical therapist, by every occupational therapist. And now there are many optometrists who have already learned this technique and are starting to apply this technique in their offices. And that's just like chiropractors have a great interest in neurology, optometrists study the brain and they have a great interest on neurology. Now here's the thing, those 3 systems, one of the 3 is the visual system, so you can understand why they're so interested. It's the visual system, it's the vestibular system, and it's the somatosensory system. Somatosensory is all these receptors we have in our joints and our muscles and our skin, all these receptors that allow us to feel our body. The vestibular system are the receptors in our inner ear that give us a sense of motion. Not just motion, but also a sense of gravity. We'll touch on that a little bit more in a second. And then, of course, the visual system, which is such a dominant, powerful system that taps into every part of your brain. And so what if those 3 systems are not perfectly calibrated, where maybe the visual system saying one thing, the somatosensory system is feeling something different, and they're sending signals into the brain, and the brain feels like, well, who should I believe? We're getting 3 different stories. And that is probably what I would think is the greatest potential drain of energy that you can have when these systems are not in sync.